Welcome everybody to my first ever video. These videos are going to be kind of unscripted, similar to my TikTok videos, just my pure raw thoughts on certain subject matters. In this case, Russell Westbrook, my favorite player of all time, and one of, I think, the most polarizing players in the history of the NBA. Not even just right now, for what he is as a role player in the history of the NBA. So before we get into the video, drop a subscribe, let me know what you think, and leave a comment, because I'm going to be taking suggestions a lot more on this channel than I would have been able to on TikTok. So make sure you guys leave a comment what you want to see, and I'm going to make a video on it. If I like the topic, I'm going to make a video on it. So let's get into it. A tribute to Russell Westbrook. Now, he's not retired. He thankfully hasn't passed on or anything, but I'm a big fan of appreciating talent when I see it and when we're able to live. Like, the players are playing right now. Let's take the chance and really appreciate them for their greatness and really acknowledge who they are as players. And Russ is one of those guys. For me, Russ Westbrook was and is a player that I've watched for probably a decade at this point. By far my favorite player ever. And over the years, seeing the slander, the criticism, the hate that I've seen Russ get, it's been really unfair. And Russ has been a player who's constantly given his all to the game, goes 100% all the time, never takes a play off, hardly ever takes games off, truthfully. And he's 33, 34 at this point. Really durable player ever since his early OKC days. And that's a testament to who he is. He just hoops, if you will. And I think that's something that goes under the radar for a lot of people, because one thing I want to start off with is people look at Russ more for what he isn't rather than what he is. People will look at Russ for his inefficient shooting numbers and his turnovers and say, oh, he's just an inefficient turnover machine, when in reality, those stats that you see are just a byproduct of his play style. And I think a lot of times, mostly all the time, a player's play style is way more important than their numbers. And for Russ, this rings true. Russ has always been a high-energy player, like I mentioned. He's always been a guy who's just going to go, 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 go all the time. And that kind of play style, while many would argue that it's erratic, it's not sustainable, it's been who Russ is and has been, and he's still thriving in the NBA with that similar play style. Obviously not the talent that he used to be, but regardless, he's still thriving in the league with that play style. The turnovers, let's start there. The turnovers are often a metric, number, stat, misconstrued by many, and people look at turnovers as a bad thing. To me, they're more neutral than anything. I don't think you could say turnovers are necessarily bad. A lot of players average higher amounts of turnovers, but a lot of those turnover numbers are not the player's fault. There's certain scenarios where a player makes a great pass, the intended recipient of the pass drops the ball, the passer gets the turnover for that. That's not really fair, and I can imagine countless, perhaps hundreds, maybe even thousands of passes Russ has thrown have resulted in a turnover because of that. And I'd obviously have to prove it and pull up clips, but that's not the time and place for this. I do know, though, that that's what's happened before. Turnovers are not a great metric. They never have been, they never will be. Magic Johnson, a player many regard as perhaps the greatest passer and or playmaker in NBA history, averaged almost 3.5 turnovers per game for his career. Now, to me, it's almost 4 turnovers a game. That's not very good. When you look at it through the lens of turnovers being a bad thing, when you look at it through the lens of turnovers being a byproduct of play style, it's really not that bad, especially when you consider Magic Johnson's play style with the Showtime Lakers especially. Fast-paced, running the fast break all the time, open floor, you're bound to make errors. When you have the ball as much as Magic Johnson, or in this case, Russell Westbrook, has and does, you're bound to make mistakes. It is what it is. LeBron James, arguably the most perfect player ever. Now, he's obviously not perfect, but he's the closest thing to it. He averages almost 3 turnovers, I think, for his career as well. 3.5 turnovers. It's a lot. However, when you consider the fact that turnovers aren't really that bad, it's really not that crazy, and it's really nothing against these players and their game. Turnovers are kind of irrelevant, in my opinion. Going alongside that, the high-energy play style, the 110% that Russ gives all the time, over the years, many have looked at that play style saying it's not sustainable, it doesn't win you championships. Now, Russ has never been in really a great position for any sustained amount of time to be the number one guy on a championship team. Could he be that? I think so. Prime Russ, peak 2016, 2017 Russ, I think so. However, it didn't pan out. Can he be that? I think so. Many don't. That's okay. Russ has always been that player, and even despite the playstyle not being sustainable or you can't win like that, Russ has still carved out quite a niche for himself in the NBA in his 15th year. Year 15, and Russ is still playing that way, and it's still working, and it's still contributing to winning. You know, ever since Russ left the Wizards, ever since he was traded from the Wizards to the Lakers, and then the Jazz, and then the Clippers, and now the Nuggets, the common theme has always been, he'll be out of the league soon. He's washed. As soon as he went to the Lakers, he doesn't fit. He makes them worse. The problem that has been with Russ discourse since he was with the Lakers is that we know the player Russ is, so to criticize him for the player that we know he is stupid, because we know what we're getting. Especially if you're the Lakers, you're trading for a guy, high usage, needs the ball to be super productive or as productive as he can be, needs the ball. You have LeBron James, who needs the ball as well. You have Anthony Davis, who kind of needs the ball as well. How are you going to have three somewhat to extremely ball-dominant players in one offense, one high-powered offense, and expect that to work? To me, it's a no-brainer. It's not going to work. You can't scapegoat Russ for the Lakers' roster problems overall. One man cannot fix an entire roster, especially Russell Westbrook, especially considering he was pretty much a role player as he joined the Lakers. He was pretty much a role player. He's obviously a role player now, but he was also pretty much a role player when he joined the Lakers. So, again, really poor arguments and poor faith here. Bottom line here is Russ is a player that's garnered a lot of hate, and criticism and hate are different. He's obviously garnered a lot of warranted criticism, but not so much hate. No hate is warranted unless someone does something really bad, and Russ has not done anything bad ever. He's given his all to the game. He's done everything to adapt to every situation he's in. Lakers, Clippers, now Nuggets. He's thriving with the Nuggets. He thrived with the Clippers for the most part. And the one thing people will always look at is the shooting numbers. If you're a guy like Russ, again, play style-wise, he takes a lot of shots. When given the chance, he will take a lot of shots. When given the chance, and if Russ is taking a lot of shots, that means he's being relied upon. And for Russ, he needs a lot of shots to score the ball. He's never been the most efficient scorer. I won't ever argue against that. But the fact of the matter is that that's who he is as a player, and that's the player you have to look at him as. You can't be surprised in year 13 when Russ goes 1 for 9 in a game, 1 for 10. That's what he does. However, despite that poor, horribly inefficient mark, he's still really impactful. Even now in year 15 with the Nuggets, he's still so very impactful. In a lot of ways, he can still pass the ball really well. He can still rebound really well. We've seen it. We saw it 2 days ago, that clip. I'm sure you've seen it. He out-rebounded Vik Zubac. How do you say his name? I forget how you say his name. Zubac. He totally bullied Zubac. Like, a dude who's almost a foot taller than him and probably 100 pounds heavier. He absolutely bullied him. Russ is still a great rebounder. He's still going to give everything on the defensive end of the ball, or I should say the defensive rebounding side of the ball, on the defensive glass. Just don't know my words here. Or on the defensive glass and on the offensive glass too. Still a great passer, still a great rebounder. He can still get the ball, push the pace in transition, pressure defenses in transition, rim pressure. Russ's best attribute for his entire career is rim pressure. His ability to get to the rim, his ability to put pressure on the rim, his ability to put pressure on defenses by being able to get to the rim so well. He can still do that. He can still do that really well. Not as well as he used to, but he can still do that. And that's an underappreciated aspect. I think that is the best part of Russ's game. His ability to pressure the rim. His ability to put pressure on the defense downhill towards the basket. It's something that you can't really replicate. It's something that's always going to be valuable. No matter how three-point oriented the game gets, rim pressure is always going to be so valuable because if you can collapse defenses like that, especially the way Russ could in OKC, your offense automatically improves. Even if you have just dog wash 3-point shooting surrounding you, your defense automatically, your offense automatically improves. It automatically gets better. So that's my Rush tribute. I could go on for more. I tried to condense it into about 10, 12 minutes here, and I think I'm going to achieve that goal. My first video. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think I can improve on. Let me know what you guys want me to make videos on next. I have a few topics I'm going to be exploring in the next couple of days, getting some notes up, getting some a little bit of scripting going, but for the most part, this is going to be my unfiltered thoughts. And yeah, my first video on the channel. Drop a sub. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your opinion on Russ in the comments. Give me your honest opinion on Russ. I don't care how glamorous or bad it is, hateful it is. Just let me hear it. Maybe we could squash some common misconceptions about his game. Anyway, thanks for watching. Drop a subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.